This is the Power Platform Daily Brief for Monday, August 12th, 2019. I'm Joel Lindstrom, and this is what you need to know about the Power Platform today in 10 minutes or less. In our first story today, we're throwing a conference. Actually, myself along with a bunch of other business applications MVPs, that is. Power Platform 24 will be on September 25th, 2019. It's going to kick off at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time on the 25th, and then go till 8:30 a.m. on the 26th. So 24 full hours of Power Platform goodness. That includes Microsoft Flow, Dynamics 365, PowerApps, Power BI, and we're looking forward to this. You might be asking, so why another conference? It seems like there's a lot of conferences, and that's true, but not everybody can go to those conferences. There's people all over the world using the Power Platform, and people who are experts at the platform and have great things to share. And if they don't live near some place where there's the conference is, or they don't have a travel budget, or their boss won't approve them taking off time from work, it's hard for them to really participate in those conferences. The second thing is we've seen a huge growth in the number of people who are presenting at things like D365 Saturdays or Dynamics 365 User Group or Power Platform UG. And for example, I'm on one of the planning committees for the User Group Summit this year coming up in North America in October. And what we saw was for a track that had maybe 15 sessions, we had about 75 sessions submitted. So we had to reject most of the people who submitted for this. So this is to give people who don't live where a conference is, or who didn't submit or didn't get selected for User Group Summit, the ability to speak. We also have multiple Microsoft people lined up. And these are people on the product teams or global black belts, people you probably recognize the names. We're not putting out the schedule yet. But the big breaking news is that the call for proposals is now open. So if you have any desire to speak at a conference, if you're doing really cool things with the Power Platform, or if you're just learning it and want to share that knowledge, I'd encourage you to go and submit multiple proposals for sessions. There's no real limit on the number you can submit. Just keep in mind there are limited to the number of sessions we have. It is going to be worldwide, so we're going to ask you to let us know the time zone you're in or the time zone you'd prefer to speak. I just want to mention something for people who are on track to or have a goal to become an MVP. One of the best ways to contribute to the community is through speaking at conferences. And just so you know, a virtual conference counts just as much as if you speak in person at a conference. And sometimes it counts more because you could have you could have more people at the virtual conference. With that in mind, if you have any desire to build your brand or share what you know, become an MVP, this is a great way to do it. So go to the blog post for this episode and click on the link to submit your proposal. Let's take a look at some of the things that were announced last week on the PowerApps blog that are going to have a big impact on the future of the unified interface at Dynamics 365 and model-driven PowerApps. First thing is that the activity timeline is getting a lot better. Now, if you listen to our podcast for a while, you know I'm a big fan of the timeline control inside of Unified Interface. Significantly better than the old activity pane, which I say put the pane in doing activities. But it's not perfect. It's a big plus that's customizable. But some things that are coming I think will be a really a big help. One is you'll be able to view email threads as a conversation in the unified interface, so that emails that are related right now are all separate. Like Outlook, this is going to make them all grouped together in a conversation view. The other thing is viewing inline images when reading emails in the unified interface. That's also a big deal. So think of it if you have an email that generates a case and people put a screenshot in it. Right now it's kind of a pain because you don't see the images in the email when you are reading the email. But now when you open up the email, you will actually see the images right in there. So that's going to make it a much better email client. That's not specific to the activity pane, but that's just in general reading activities or reading emails from within the unified interface. They're also working to make the activity timeline wall better by making it more dense as far as showing more activities in a single view. That's one thing. If you're looking through a bunch of activities right now, it's pretty scrolly because you only see a few activities. They're making them show many more activities on the timeline wall and clearly displaying the icons on the right to help you identify which ones are what types of activities. They're making the more commands available when you hover over it with your mouse, such as the ability to close the activity, delete the activity, respond to the activity, etc. And quickly expanding or collapsing an activity to view the full contents. So it's kind of taking what we have right now, collapsing it down, and then making it easy to click and expand it and to quickly act on it without having to open it up. They're also making some changes to some notifications that we get in the system. Error notifications are going to be more intuitive, such as right now it gives you an error by the field where there's an error. Say you got a required field you didn't fill out. But they're going to start giving a bar on the top, kind of going to what the classic UI had. It's a pink bar this time, not a yellow bar. But then when you click on it, it's going to take you to where that error happened. So help you with, especially with a bigger form with multiple tabs, you might get an error on a tab and you don't know where it is. This is going to make it easier for you to find the error and resolve it. On Quick Create, again, this is something that we had and it went away, but the ability to save and new is coming back. So when you create a record and then you hit the save button, there will now be a drop down on the save button that you can click to save and create a new one. This is going to be extremely helpful if you need to quickly enter in a number of records. You create the first one, well, right now you would create the first one and save it, then you'd go back to the quick create menu, create another one. 2-3 clicks, now we can save and easily create a new one. And then finally, the on-save changes dialog is changing. This is something that you may have gone a long time without thinking about this. This is when I'm leaving a form, I'm creating a record, and I didn't save it. Do you want to save your changes before leaving the page? Now it's going to give you 3 options. Save and continue will save the record, will attempt to save the record and open the page you wanted to go to. Discard changes will not attempt to save the information. It will just discard the changes. And then if you close the dialog with the X, it will keep you on the page you're on, and then you can keep working. So this is an improvement. Some people were confused by the on-save changes dialog before and unintentionally did the wrong thing. So this is going to be a big improvement. Again, something a lot of people don't think about, but something that's very important for people that create a lot of records, active users of the system. So to summarize today's daily brief, be sure to go and submit your proposals and mark your calendar for the Power Platform 24 wherever you are in the world. I don't care if you're traveling. I don't care what part of the world you're in. It's in your time zone. So get your proposal in and then mark your calendar for the 25th and from the 25th to the 26th, again, depending on what time zone. It's 8:30 a.m. Eastern on the 25th of September through 8:30 a.m. Eastern on the 26th of September. So mark your calendars. We'll be publishing out a link where you can register for the conference, and we'll see you there virtually. And then check out the PowerApps blog for the latest updates on the unified interface and PowerApps. This is Joel Lindstrom, and this is your daily brief for Monday, August 12th, 2019. Now you're up to date. Power on.